The 2023 Detroit Auto Show is officially underway in downtown Detroit, showcasing the latest and greatest in the auto industry. We'll have a live report from inside Huntington Place in just a moment, but we begin with the threat of a strike by auto workers. Just 31 hours remain for Detroit's Big Three to reach a deal with the UAW. Thanks for joining us. I'm Taryn Asher. We are expected an update any minute now from UAW's president on the status of negotiations. Fox News' Scott Wolchek joining us live from Dearborn with the very latest. And Scott, they may not want to strike, but it looks like they're ready to go.
Taryn, that is right. They are ready to go. You can hear everybody out here. There's tons of chanting, tons of honking here just outside of Dearborn Trucking it is in Dearborn. But people here extremely passionate. They say that while they may not want to strike, if they're given the order, they are ready to roll.
We got to do what we got to do.
And that means a strike if a deal isn't reached between the UAW and the Big Three by tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. Luigi Jokai with UAW Local 51 is hoping for the best, but prepared in case negotiations turn sour.
How are you guys feeling right now?
Anxious, nervous, kind of like the moments before a big boxing match, but we're ready.
The UAW is asking for a 46% pay raise, 32-hour work week with 40 hours of pay, tier system removed, and restoration of traditional pensions for new hires, among other demands.
I mean, ideally, they come with all the demands the UAW has given that Shawn Fain has spoken about over and over again. We've given them a lot of time. I think we've been very fair in our demands, and they've had plenty of time to hear them out.
And Ford, GM, and Stellantis have all provided offers. Ford CEO Jim Farley even calling his company's latest deal its most generous offer in 80 years. Here's what it entails: pay increases, elimination of tiers, inflation protection, 5 weeks of vacation, and more. GM has come to the table with an additional paid holiday, ratification bonus, and wage increases. And Stellantis has offered 14.5% raises and inflation bonuses. None of these have moved the needle in negotiations quite yet.
I mean, the mood overall has been positive. Obviously, there's always a little bit of anxiety involved, but it's been positive. We just want to be done right and treated fairly, really. That's kind of the bottom line.
With the deadline rapidly approaching, Local 51 has one final message to the Big Three.
Tick-tock.
As you can hear, chanting going on. We are the union, mighty, mighty union here in Dearborn. President Fain taking to Facebook Live shortly. We're going to talk to some of these guys about just what they think about what he's got to say coming up at 6. Reporting live in Dearborn, Scott Wolchek, Fox 2 News.
We heard Fain say that there's still a lot of work to be done. Scott, if they do strike, we're understanding it will be targeted, meaning local plants. Do we know which ones, or does it include all in our area?
It sounds to me, just from talking to some of the union reps, that it would include all, but obviously a lot of things can change in the next 30 hours or so, Taryn, so we'll be keeping an eye on it.
Lots of moving parts. All right, thanks, Scott Wolchek, for that update, and we'll see where things go from here. It is Media Day at the 2023 Detroit Auto Show, and we're getting our first look at the vehicles inside Huntington Place. Fox 2's Roop Raj and Dave Spencer joining us live from the showroom right now. We understand there were some big reveals today, guys.
Big reveals and big names in the awardees that were actually on the semifinalist list, which is a big deal. As you know, the North American Car, Truck, and Utility of the Year is a coveted award every single year. Dave and I have been covering this show for many years, and that's still a highlight of the show.
Yeah, and that's how things normally get kicked off, and that's how they were kicked off this year. We're talking about not announcing the winners this time, however, the semifinalists or the best of 2024. We got to look at some of the people that made that category. And what stood out to me as they whittled the field down from 52 to 25 is that 8 of those are fully electric, and 4 of the utility vehicles, or the SUVs, were electric as well. So here's what these awards are really based on: innovation, design, safety, handling, experience, and value. That's what the jurors are taking these vehicles out on the road and judging. That's the standard. 50 of them. Now they'll come back in Michigan in October and take them all for a spin, these 25 semifinalists, and in January, back here in Metro Detroit, they'll announce a winner.
And January 5th is going to be a big time. Of course, every winter we know when the weather gets cold, we talk about the big winners for the NAC Toy Awards. I'm going to tell you what's interesting about this year's awards, you know, who is missing from the list, but also who is there. Some proud American car companies. The Dodge Hornet was on that list in the semifinalists. The Chevy Equinox is a big deal, and the electrified Chevy Blazer. That's one of the things you'll see behind us here in this electric track, which, by the way, is getting a lot of attention from the thousands of journalists here. And Dave, what's interesting is the reveals. This is one of the years, unlike last year, where you're actually going to see the big three making some reveals. Today was all about Cadillac.
Yeah, Cadillac had the commitment today, and they wanted to showcase something, so they rolled out the new 2025 CT5. This was a reimagined and fully refreshed model. It's got a new face. It's got a driver center cockpit. I had a chance to take a minute before we came out here live and sit in it, and it's comfortable. It's got massage heated seats, so you can really get comfortable.
Is that,
in that.
safe to? I mean, massage, you're gonna massage and also keep me warm.
Zero
while I'm
complaints
driving.
for me, and maybe it's more for the passenger. But hey, look, you got a long car ride. You could have a worse ride. Huge heads-up display, Google built in. All these things were showcased today. They're going to bring out the new Escalade tomorrow, is what I was told. So that's it's not going to be any sort of big reveal, but it'll be here on the showroom floor. So a little something to look forward to at least come tomorrow.
It's an interesting show because the mood has changed from last year, where it was muted when they, of course, moved things to September, and we just didn't see the crowds necessarily. This year, you're already seeing a large buzz with journalists. But Brian, get a shot of some of what we're hearing behind us. This EV experience,
this is
it's just one of the tracks. I mean, there are 15 different vehicles on here, from that Chevy Blazer, the Cadillac Lyriq, these electric trucks. People are getting their first look and feel, because Dave, selling an electric car with the price point right now is tough.
Yeah.
There are certain cars that are of good prices when it comes to, you know, the typical consumer out there, but you got to make sure these prices go down. Right now, some of these are especially high, but you got to get people comfortable in electric, and that's what they're able to do with the track behind us.
Yeah, and if you get a bracelet, when you come, you'll get to do just that. We'll have much more on that, this aspect of it, coming on later in the show.
Back over to you, Taryn.
Well, I'm still stuck on those massage heated seats there. But let's, on a serious note, though, I did want to ask, because of the possible strike as a backdrop to this auto show, we're hearing that some automakers decided maybe not to reveal some models or decide to show at all. Is that the case?
Well, I think the key here is being able to pivot and being able to understand the tone and the mood of the show and what it's going to change into based on that strike deadline. If the strike does happen, you're talking about automakers are going to have to mute a little bit of their enthusiasm when it comes to some of the product lines, because the men and women who made those cars would be on the other side of Huntington Place with picket signs.
Yeah, and a delayed rollout, too. So, you know, you factor all of that in, and that's something automakers are having to make these decisions on the fly as that deadline gets closer and closer.
All right. Well, we appreciate an inside look there. We know that we'll be checking in with you both throughout the newscast. So for now, we'll let you go, but thank you so much.
See you at 5:30.
Well, cooler temperatures will move in this evening as we inch closer to fall. Weather Authority Rich Luterman joining us now live with our forecast. You could really feel the difference, Rich.
Big time, Taryn. Yeah, summer is over. Not officially, but certainly it looks and feels like fall out there. It's going to be a quiet night ahead. You can see a couple of showers over the south end of Lake Michigan into northern Indiana and northern Ohio. We're going to stay dry, but yes, it is on the cool side. 68 for us, 64 Lansing, 64 down in Hillsdale. How about 63 right now, Grand Rapids? Look at this. Frost advisories for parts of northern Wisconsin, parts of the UP, and northern lower. We are not going to get that cold tonight, although there could be some spots dipping into the 40s. Live pictures from the Mackinac Bridge, 62 degrees there with some hazy sunshine. And then you'll see the forecast for tonight. Perhaps some patchy fog. Will get down to 50 on average. But this nice stretch of weather continues with the cool nights. Sunday brings our next shower chance. Of course, the Lions are in town. We'll be rooting hard. We're going to check the 7-day, Taryn, coming up in 10.
We'll talk to you then. Thanks so much, Rich. Governor Whitmer is speaking out tonight about the Mel Tucker situation at Michigan State. The head coach of football is suspended over allegations of sexual harassment. Tucker is accused by Brenda Tracy, a sexual assault prevention advocate who spoke to Spartan football team. Now, the two struck up a friendship, but later Tracy claims Tucker engaged in a sexual act while on a phone call with her. The alleged incident taking place in the spring of last year. Governor Whitmer is weighing in, saying as a Spartan, she's disappointed, and as the governor, she wants answers. In a statement, Whitmer says, quote, "We deserve to know when the university knew about these allegations and why they made the decisions they did. We need to ensure that one of our state's flagship universities, one that carries so much weight around the world, is learning from the past and not recreating it," end quote. Well, starting today, Michigan has a new program to protect victims of domestic violence, stalking, and sexual assault. It will shield a very important piece of privacy, their home address. Fox News' Hillary Golston explains how this will work.
This isn't just anyone who feels like they want to ghost someone. You really have to be committed in order to enter this program. And what that means is you do have to move.
It's about building a safety plan for people who have been victimized, survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, human trafficking, or others who fear that having their physical address out there will increase the potential they could be re-victimized, sometimes by the person already convicted for hurting them.
We could make sure that an individual is held accountable. We could make sure in many instances even that that person was sentenced to jail or prison if they deserved that sentence. But eventually that person was going to be released in many cases. And then what?
It's the what that the Address Confidentiality Program, or ACP, is meant to deal with, dating back to a bill passed in 2020.
We don't want to see people just because they have, the terrible misfortune of being a crime victim feel like they can't participate in their government and avail themselves of government services.
The idea is, if you're in the program, your actual physical address is totally shielded from the public. No one knows it except government agencies unless you want them to know it.
The address that is going to be utilized for all your government services, including your driver's license, will be an address that's provided to you by the state of Michigan. And it's not a real address. It's really a mail forwarding address that's utilized by our department, by DTMB, by the Bureau of Elections and other agencies to make sure that you're getting your mail, but that you're doing so safely.
To qualify, you have to be moving or planning to move because pre-existing addresses may be compromised. You have to be at least 18 or be an emancipated minor or be the parent or guardian acting on behalf of a minor or ward.
And we would have, survivors of violent crime say, what am I supposed to do now? And what could we say except for, well, let us know if he starts to harass you again. Let us know if he starts to bother you. Let us know if he tries to kill you. We don't want people to be in that situation. We want people to feel as safe and protected as possible.
Participants also get a guidebook that outlines how to vote, how to change your address, information on schools and busing, and what to do when you contact police or emergency services. Hillary Golston, Fox 2 News.
Well, hundreds of Blue Cross Blue Shield workers are walking the picket lines tonight. About 1,100 employees represented by the UAW walked off the job today. The union and Blue Cross could not agree on a new contract for unionized employees across the state. The main sticking points include the outsourcing of jobs and what the workers call stagnant wages.
With the current contract, it takes 22 years to get the full pay. 22. No one should have to wait 22 years in order to get the fair pay.
Now, Blue Cross released a statement saying they put contingencies in place to keep the business going. However, they also say the strike could result in longer wait times for over-the-phone customer service. A former Macomb County prosecutor sentenced to 4 months probation today. Eric Smith will also be required to pay $25,000 in restitution, an $8,000 fine, and complete 750 hours of community service. The sentence was part of a plea deal. Smith pled guilty to embezzling forfeiture funds while in office after a years-long public corruption probe. After today's court appearance, Smith had a message for the people of Macomb County.
I think the people of Macomb County should know that never was money missing, that never any money went to me, that this is a disagreement about how money should be spent. None of this was done by me in a closed door. You heard the testimony at exam. There was 5 or 6 of us that decided on everything, decided on how things would be done, that my actions have affected.
Smith previously pleaded guilty to federal charges of obstructing justice in 2021 after an FBI investigation found he used $75 grand in campaign funds for his personal use. He served 7 months in federal prison for that offense.